So, I was live, and then I wasn't, and now I am again. How you doing, everyone? I'm just going to give you a couple of minutes, and then I'm going to get straight into it. So, it's almost 6 o'clock. What's that doing up there? Here we go. A couple of people on. Right then. So, hey Claire, how you doing? Okay. Today's going to be fun and interesting. So I don't have any. Hi Fiona. I don't have any speakers or anything. So let me know if you can hear this okay, and I'll just get on with it. Right. So I think the first thing. Hey Tina, how are you? Let's chat about COVID-19. Oh, hey Chris, how you doing? Hi Helen, hi Lisa. I don't know if you know about this COVID-19 thing, but it's quite popular. I'm just tired, I'm being silly. Do you know what? I shared a post in the week, and I want to thank everyone for just acknowledging it really and giving me all your kind of views on it. It was phenomenal. I'm just trying to get it now on here we go. I mean, I couldn't believe how many of you are affected by it. I mean, we all are, aren't we? But it was interesting to read specific things that you're all going through, and I'm really sorry I don't have any answers, but I just wanted to thank you for kind of coming on and taking the time to, you know, leave me a post. What I did was I took some of them and we just used them in a little video, just the quotes. And so I may share that with you. I mean, yeah, it's amazing. There's that many of them. And I'm sorry if I didn't respond to all of them. I tried to write directly to them, but yeah, it's phenomenal. So let's hope in the next few months that you guys won't feel all the stuff that you felt, and you'll feel a bit more supported by the schools and by the government and all that. But let's move on from the politics. And oh wow, hey guys, lots of you on. This is awesome. So today we are going to talk about Socrates. Don't ask me why. I'm just reading a really cool book at the moment, and I like Socrates, and I like what he thinks. But first, as always, I want to answer a couple of questions. So there are two that came through this week, and you guys know who you are, who sent it. As always, not giving out any names, it's irrelevant really. But yeah, let's have a look at the first one. My son gets quickly frustrated and then extremely angry because he doesn't want to hurt his family and friends. He then hurts himself by biting, punching his tummy, or slapping his face. Any suggestions how to help would be very much appreciated. Guys, feel free to comment on that one. I always, whenever there's a child who is angry or getting frustrated or hitting them at themselves, the most important thing for me is that they keep themselves safe. And the way I do that is to remove expectation. And I'm not saying that you do that, but sometimes, you know, even if we say to a child, come on and let's go for a walk, or can you just pick up that sock, or whatever it is, and then all of a sudden they'll explode. What's going on there is basically they are having too much expectation put on them. You might think picking that sock up is just okay, but it's not for them. And on those days, just pick the sock up. That's generally what I used to do with my son, and my mum always used to pick things up after me. And I remember my dad would always kind of like, oh, you're just picking things up after him. But it was interesting because I was oblivious to my plate being put on the floor or the orange peel on the side of the sofa. It was not where my mind was. I never thought, I'll put that there, my mum will pick it up. It just didn't work that way for me. I just was too much going on in my head as a child. So my mum, I think she got that, and she would just sometimes pick things up after me. So one of the things is removing the expectation. Then I think the next thing really, it's just, it's a tricky one. Try not to respond. And there are these things that I always say, and I'll try and kind of keep the same message going here. It's all about acceptance and just telling him it's not his fault, reassuring him, it is hard, especially if he's hitting himself and he's punching walls. My son used to do it all the time. But we just found removing any expectation and just giving him, that's a good one, Chris. Yeah. What about the expectations they have for themselves? It's the same thing, isn't it? It's like a child that pushes themselves to a high expectation. And this is only my view. You guys might have a different view on it. They have low self-esteem. They don't accept themselves, and I'm one for that. I can hear my wife in my ear going, "Ah, that's you," but I don't. I struggle really a lot to accept myself for who I am and just be me. And I work with a lot of children that have that same thing. They just get so angry at themselves because all they want to do is be accepted, whether it's by themselves inside or whether they want to be liked outside and they don't know how to do it. A lot of the expectations are difficult. So for a child who puts it on themselves, I would be looking at that first. I'd be looking at self-esteem issues. Is there anything I can do to help them? And at the end of this session, I'm playing a little kind of clip, a 60-second clip. If you guys haven't seen them, I've got them on my YouTube channel. It's a really good one about self-esteem. So we're going to play that and hopefully that will help with that bit. But yeah, regarding getting frustrated and aggression, the key is removing expectation, and it's about discovering what it is that's making them get to that point. I hope that's helped a little bit. As always, just drop me a message. Quite happy to chat. Or if you need some, more one-to-one stuff, I can provide that for you. Not a problem. So I hope that's okay. Yeah, I never feel like I'm answering the questions half the time. But like I say, just let me know. And guys, if anyone has got any advice, here's the first question for those of you just coming on. A child who's getting frustrated and that frustrated, the questions run off. Basically, the child's getting frustrated and struggling and not hitting at everyone else, but hitting at himself. So my advice is just, remove expectation. Let's have a look, see if anyone has give you any advice or tips. I'm a pick it up mom, Fiona. Yeah, do you know what? It's weird, isn't it? Because a lot of parents would be, can I just show you my new cup that my friend Teresa bought me? I think it's quite nice. She's probably not on because, she's just doing her own thing. But thank you for my cup, Teresa. It was my birthday on Sunday. I was 31. Not really. I wish I was 31 again. Where am I? I've lost track. Yeah, Fiona, she's a pickup mum. My mum was too. And I'm a pickup dad. And it's one of them things, isn't it? Sometimes you just know, don't you? And a lot of people, I remember my dad, he had Cameron for, I was ill in hospital and my mum wasn't available for some reason. I remember just not being able to have Cameron anywhere. And he's only about 3. And my dad went, I'll have him, son. I'll have him. And he had him for a weekend and he never had him since. And sometimes it's easy for people to go, you just need to do this and do that. I'm not saying my dad's, what doesn't love my son, he does, but oh my God, he didn't know what to do with him. And so for you parents out there that pick things up after your kids, well done. Right, so next question. Right, so my child recently keeps hearing voices and she says are telling her to do and say things which she does tell me about, but one of them was to open the door whilst I was driving. She kept saying I'm getting distracted by it and it's telling me to open the door. I had to stop the car and change her seats. Any help you can give or advice would be very much appreciated. First thing to say is don't panic, and second thing is it's really common for children with autism to have those kinds of thoughts, voices in their heads. Generally, if you look to research or you look, at the kind of psychiatric side of that, as a child, you don't worry about it, because with voices in the head, it can mean so much, and the best thing to do is just to let it kind of go over your head. And I know that sounds quite tricky. There is always other things, I don't know your child, so it is difficult. And obviously if, things escalate, you have to go down the whole process of the doctors, and I'm sure you know what to do as a parent. But generally, it's interesting because my son had this very, very thing about getting, we'd be driving on the motorway and he'd start having panic attacks to the point where he wouldn't even get in the car, because he was so fearful that he would do the same thing, that he would just open the door and jump out. At that time, he was quite depressed. I don't know if your child is feeling a little bit down and maybe she doesn't know how to express herself, and maybe she's, kind of doing that for that reason. But the best thing I learned was his. I hope this makes sense, but whenever a child or an adult is worried about some thought, so for example, oh my God, I might open the door of my car, what it generally means is they're not going to do it, because it's a fear factor. And with autism, what happens is a thought comes into someone's head, a child's head or an adult's head, and you can't get it out, as they call it, brain lock. But I know from experience, from myself, and from when my son would do it, we would pull over the car just like you, and initially I didn't know what to do, but it was generally that I kind of, the more I looked into it, the more I kind of just got to know my son's experience of it all. People who fear it, oh my God, what if, they're never going to do it, they don't do it. It's the ones who don't tell you, the ones who are totally fine with it and just open the door and try and jump out. That would be a very different conversation I'd be having with you. I wouldn't be offering advice online for something like that. That would be very, they'd need a lot more support. But generally with autism, our kids have so much that go on in their heads. I've heard it all. There's just, a thought is just a thought. And the best advice I can give you to give to your daughter is, you are not your thoughts. Just tell her she's not her thoughts. Because we're not our thoughts. You are your behaviour, if that makes sense. So what you do is who you are. So if you're thinking, oh my God, what if, and you don't do it, that's who you are. So your daughter is someone who will not jump out of the car. I hope that makes sense. I hope that can ease you. Obviously, you're going to keep her safe, and we did this with Cameron. I'd have him in the front. Once I learned that he's not going to do it, he's just fearful of doing it. Of course, I'd drive slow. I'd make sure I could get my hand on that seat belt just in case. There's always that bit of you, isn't there? So keep that going. Obviously, keep her safe. But generally, it is difficult because I don't know your child. But I hope that helps. Has anyone got any advice for that? Let's have a look. Hey, Judy. Judy's new to the group. Sylvia's got a voice in her head. Well, let's not talk about that. Because, Sylvia and your voice, or your many voices. Is Lee Burden one of your voices? Maybe he doesn't exist. Maybe he's in our heads. Just be quiet, Aaron. Let's have a look. It's what I shouldn't do. Fear, thought. Yeah, it really is, thanks for that, Emma. It's so true. And I hope, mother who shared that question, please, like I say, message me. We can chat more one-to-one on that. But yeah, I hope that helps. Yeah, you're not your thoughts, people. I should give myself this advice, shouldn't I? Yes, you should, Aaron. I can hear Jane in the background. No, she's not really. Right then, are we ready for this? This is awesome. Here we go. Socrates. Ha! Don't even ask me why I'm doing this. These weekly sessions are brilliant for me because I'm like, what am I going to do? Oh, I won't do it this week. Oh, I've got to do it this week. I weren't going to do it today. I've kind of been a bit low and a bit in myself, but helps me. So thank you. Right. Okay. So who's Socrates? You all know him. Here's a nice little kind of simple joke. Tea? Sure. What is tea? It's the stuff in the pot. But how do you know it's in the pot? Just pour the bloody tea, Socrates. I like that joke. Well, I'm not going to go into Socrates, and can I just put it out there? I'm not a philosophical student. I did psychology. I'm not an expert in Socrates. I know some simple things about him, but I've been reading a book that I'm going to share with you in a bit, and it's really good. And I just got some bits and I thought, you know what, that's really interesting. I want to share it with everyone today. So here we go. So basically, Socrates always asked why. Never stopped asking why. And this is what he believed. He believed that all wisdom comes from within, And, you know, when I talk about Carl Rogers, for those of you who have been following these sessions, I talk a lot about child-centered approaches to education. And that's what that is, basically. You believe that the child has the answer themselves. You're not as important as that child, or more important than that child. And Socrates was great because he would encourage his listeners to think about everything. And he did not believe in traditional teaching. He actually went against so many people that were around him because they were doing traditional kind of teaching. And a traditional teaching method is, you know, a child or a person doesn't know something, and the teacher, the master, teaches them the answer, and then they learn the answer. And he's the opposite of that. He basically, the Socrates teaching method, or the Socratic, or however you pronounce it, method, you don't give answers. What you do is you're asking questions in such a way that a child will discover the answer for themselves. It's so much different to the generic kind of, this is fact, this is truth, and you're going to listen to it. So ultimate question for tonight: how can Socrates, or how can this help an autistic child and their families? Well, there's three things that I wanted to highlight today without giving you a headache, because I'm not an expert in Socrates, and there are millions of books about this bloke. But here's the thing about all the philosophers and Noam Chomsky's and of the world, and Carl Rogers of the world, is I just love them because all they wanted to do, they just wanted to focus on human behavior and what can they do, what can they give to the world, and I love that kind of thinking. So this is the first thing, basically. So I will explain it a little bit more, but basically by asking questions so that a child finds their own answers, what it does is it can help them to focus without getting frustrated, without you getting frustrated, without them getting frustrated. We all have those moments where we're late for school and our child's not putting their socks on, or, you know, they just kind of don't want to go, or they don't want to go shopping, or, you know, I don't even have to, I'm talking to the converted here. It's kind of, we get frustrated with our kids and they get frustrated at us. So I've got a book that I'm reading called I Am Special. I Am Special. And I really like it. I haven't read it all, so I can't give you like a heads up on, wow, it's amazing, go out and buy it. But just buy it anyway. If you've got the money, it's like, I don't know, tenner or whatever. I like to read. But I'm going to read this thing out. Shall I hold my book up like that and pretend I'm Jack Anori? What was that thing? Right. Once upon a time, I'd be good at Jack Anori, if that was the right thing. I can't remember it. Showing my age now. Right, so here's an example of using Socrates' method of asking questions instead of teaching them. So a pupil with autism always forgets to put the things she needs for her homework in her school bag. Her teacher constantly has to remind her to take her work diary, her English book, her homework, and other equipment. And this never changes. Instead of telling her what she has to do every time, the teacher could approach the problem in a way that Socrates would. So here's the example. Teacher: so Anne, what are you going to do when you get home? Anne: first, I'll have a piece of fruit, then I'm going to feed my cat, and then I'm going to do some homework. Teacher: good. And what do you have for homework? Anne: well, I've got to colour in a map of Europe and write in the capitals. And how are you going to do that? What do you need? So you notice the teacher's asking questions. The teacher is enticing the child. So she responds, well, I need my homework page, a map of Europe, I need my colouring pencils and a ballpoint pen. And do you have all this equipment in your school bag? Yes, look. Oh no, I haven't put my colouring pencils in yet. I'll put them in right now. And then the teacher goes on to say, very good. And do you already know the capitals of Europe? Lots, but not all of them. The Eastern European ones are really hard to remember. That's true. But how are you going to find out these capitals? Oh, yeah, right. It's in my atlas. I think I have to go and put that in my bag as well. Well done, Anne. So, very basic thing, but it comes out. I like this book. I'm reading it at the moment. I Am Special. So, yeah. Does that make sense? So what the teacher's doing, instead of going, bring this, bring that, bring this, bring that, bring this, you know, do your homework. He's kind of asking her to think for herself in a way. Now, the Socrates method of asking questions, I know is not going to be for every child, but guys, you know, I'm trying to do something different every week. So I'm sure, hopefully, I'll meet you all the needs of you in about probably 10 years time. So that's the first thing. I think you can help a child to focus. Because what you're doing is you're showing a child that they can learn to find the answers themselves. There are so many children that I find that we tend to just be, Lewis, what do you mean? Are you saying I'm a horrible teacher? I think I could read that very, very well. Thank you very much. I know you're joking, Sylvia. And I know you mean the teacher in the book, maybe. I don't know. I'm not ever going to be a teacher again. I've done my years. You've distracted me, Sylvia. Right, okay, here we go. So, what was I saying? Yes. See what I need? I need to explore questions so I can stay focused. Anyway, right. So, find the answers themselves. Because here's the thing. We don't do that a lot of the time with our autistic children. And in schools, you know, they're not allowed to think for themselves. A lot of it's down to fear or you know, oh my God, you know, I've got to help this child do this or do that. I really do think a lot of our children, they've got the answers inside. I've told you this before. I really do think it's time for a change, time for a shift in thinking, and child-centeredness is the way forward. By using this Socratic method, basically you're showing a child that they also have control. And don't our children love to be in control? I love it when our children are in control because I know that they're going to do what's right for them, and that's really, really more important. So, second thing that you can learn from Socrates, help in the classroom. Now, if there are any teachers out there, just to give you a heads up, I've taught for years, I know what it's like, and I know it's hard. So when I'm sharing something, I'm always thinking about myself and could I have applied that in my classroom? And definitely, this is how I used to approach everything. As the teacher, you don't have to pretend to know more than you actually do. Because the great thing about using the Socrates method is that you are always with the child, working out the question together. They're asking you a question, you're asking them a question. Yes, you're leading it through asking lots of questions, but you're just as important as they are. You're not the main person. You're not doing this traditional method of, well, I'm the teacher, I'm going to teach you something that you don't know, and then you have to memorize it and do it in an exam, and then, well done, I'll give you an A, and you can go off and get a job. Which, you know, works for some, but not for many. And this is what Socrates said, and you all probably know this. I know that I am intelligent because I know that I know nothing. It's deep, man. It's deep. I'm going to, before I go on to the next one, I'm noticing there's a lot of people making comments, so I want to say hello to everyone. Hi, Helen. Our son was threatened by his teacher to stay in, missing break for 2 weeks because he forgot his reading book. Oh, I'm so sorry. What a wally. I get now why Sylvia said what a horrible teacher. That is bad. Yeah, I don't get it. You know, I don't know. Lisa, let's have a look. Would you be able to point links or photos of the books on your page, please? Yes, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will stick that there for you. So it's called I Am Special, and I can't mention the man's name. It's very long. Peter somebody. Let's have a look at some questions. Hi, Sue. Gosh, Sue, is this like the second time? How are you? This is my friend Sue, everybody. She looks like she's on a most wanted picture there, doesn't she? Have you seen this woman? Sorry, Sue. I'm just in a funny mood. Maybe talking something in the car with her that makes her feel safe and happy. Yep, definitely. That's going back to the first question. Second question, isn't it? My daughter still takes a cuddle toy with her. Yeah. Well done, Sue. Nice bit of insight there. Fiona, I'm so glad you do the live. I'm sure so many of us learn so much from you. Could listen to you all day. Well, thank you very, very much. Sometimes I think, what the hell am I doing? But I appreciate that, Fiona. That means a lot. Thanks. Okay, so should we go to this one? Help in the classroom. I've done that one. Let's go to this one. Building self-esteem. I like self-esteem. And we all need a bit of it, don't we? And I really do think, hey, Sue, yes, child-centered is the way forward. It definitely is. And Socrates, all those, I don't know, thousands of years ago, also believed it. And I think he got murdered, didn't he? So anyway, let's be quiet about the child-centered approach, and then we won't be sentenced to, death or whatever happened to him. But no, I love it. And I think have a look at the Socrates method or Socratic method. The book, I Am Special, definitely covers it a little bit. Might not be for all of you, but it's just something new, isn't it, that you can have a look at. And I just want to quickly show you this video. This is taken from my YouTube channel, Accepting Behaviour Education channel. And it's just a little 60-second clip. So I'm going to play it. So sit back, have a listen to me. It's very weird. I'm playing a video of me talking. Very strange. Anyway, here we go. So what do you think? Some tips on self-esteem. Hi, and welcome to 60-second tips. Supporting children with autism. Self-esteem. Self-esteem is a person's belief about themselves and their opinion of who they are. Children with autism find it really difficult to have good self-esteem, and even find compliments difficult to accept from others. Let's now take a look at 60 seconds worth of tips on self-esteem. Ask to be in their world. Children are so often expected to fit into our world. However, if you flip this around every now and then and ask if you can be in theirs for a moment, you are showing value, interest and respect for who they are, building up their self-esteem. Don't just praise or give a reward for the sake of it. Saying, "Well done, that's great, here's a sticker," sometimes isn't enough to raise self-esteem in our children. Be more productive by not giving a reward and instead explaining your praise. For example, "I really appreciated what you wrote in your story. I loved the words you used. They really added depth to the characters." Involve them in everyday decision making. You can show a child that you think their opinion matters and that their voice is so important to you by simply asking questions like, "What do you think?" or "What should I do? Have you got any ideas?" Thanks for listening to 60-second tips supporting children with autism. Please don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel, and thanks so much for watching. There we go. That was me with hair waving as I walk away. That's my avatar. It's not really. I just couldn't afford a really expensive cartoon. So I just got that one instead. So yeah, what do you think? Come on then. I'm going to stop talking now because, but they are available, those clips. I think there's 4 of them. There's like anxiety and challenging behaviour. 60 seconds, got some little tips. Everything that I share here, guys, I've used myself and I've applied and things that work. And with the self-esteem stuff, those things really do work. They're really good. So yeah, thank you. Sue liked it. Awesome. And Claire, wicked, and Lisa. Thank you very much. Hey, Sue. The other Sue, I'm not going to make you swear. Hey, Jenny. I'm just going to have a look. So, yeah. So, come on. Give me some insight. Vanessa, brilliant. Thumbs up. Awesome. Great video. Because, yeah, self-esteem's good. And sometimes, just maybe if your kid's feeling sorry for themselves, just stick that on. Play it in the background. See what they think. Thanks, Fiona. So, that's it, really. Shall I carry on for a little bit? Does anyone want to say hello or do anything? Sometimes very strange, feel all alone. Emma, these should be for everyone, all children, adults, just not children with autism. Yeah, totally agree. It's how we should be. Do you know what I find as well, though, Emma, is the problem is as you get older, it's harder, isn't it, to like yourself? It's a lot easier to just go, I've had enough of this. Yeah. So that's a good one. Thank you, Emma. And Debbie. Hello, Debbie. Love that. That's great for my daughter, although I do most of that, but might be useful to share with other people. That's really nice to hear, because the more of us that are doing it, the better, isn't it? Because, I remember when I was a kid and my mum and dad never talked about feelings and emotions and stuff, and I think it really helped my son grow up. Just to tell him I'm feeling down today. And well, actually, one of the things that really helped with my self-esteem, or Cameron's self-esteem, was he would find it really hard with his emotions, and I would have a bad day, and my dad would have bad days, and so would my mum. But what I think back then, they just wouldn't show it to their children, which, you know, it's the British thing to do, isn't it? But I think when you're autistic, you just need to know you're not on your own. And so I would talk about my feelings. I'd be like, oh mate, I'm so depressed today, or I had a panic attack today, or I don't know, whatever's going on in my head. And you know what, it really brought us together, because my son could understand that. He understood what it's like to have a panic attack. And, you know, would try it with my daughter as well, Lily. And for those of you who are tuned in to watch Lily's video that we were going to do this week, it's a work in progress. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. We are getting there with it, bless her. And do you know what? While I'm on, you know, last week we were talking about Sonic the Hedgehog. If that woman's on, the mom's on, I want to know if you actually did run around your garden chasing the rings. So please leave me a message. I just thought, I wonder if she did it. Sylvia, I know you did. And you know what, Sylvia? You helped me a lot with that. And I'm writing something at the moment. And every now and then, I'm going to put this on, actually. This is quite interesting. Guys, what do you think? Is it important? Well, not important. How do you say it? A child with autism or an autistic child? It seems to be both. I don't think either are right or wrong. It's just, you know, Sylvia prefers I'm autistic, and thank you, because the thing that I was writing, I've pretty much changed it to autistic children instead of a child with autism. I don't think it really matters, but, you know, for you it does. And yeah, you inspired me, so thank you, Sylvia. But yeah, what do you think, guys? A child with autism or an autistic child? Let's have a look. Sarah, hello Sarah, had a long conversation with my daughter about how my OCD manifests. Yeah, do you know what? That I think, I can't get my sound effects on. I was going to give you a clap then, but that'd be a bit silly, but I'm tired, so bear with me. Sarah, that's awesome. Seriously. Yeah, and you know what else it does as well? In a way, you're kind of giving yourself therapy, because you're talking to you to you know, your child, and she's appreciating it, and it really is important, because I feel like it's like it kind of brings you together, doesn't it? I'm not saying we've all got mental health problems, and I'm sorry that you struggle with OCD, because it's not nice, is it? But fair play, that's really good, because bottling it up doesn't work, does it? I mean, my dad, you know, would only ever speak to me, I don't know, he's probably opened up about once in his lifetime. Love him, and he's a good bloke, but I know he's got a lot of things going on in his head. So fair play to all you lot who talk about your emotions. Hey man, we're like a snowflakes, and we're not snowflakes, are we? That's really good parenting. I think it's fantastic parenting. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, I'm autistic, is autistic. With autism, it's like you're carrying it in a bag. That's a brilliant point, Sue. Yeah, totally agree. I think I'm definitely into the autistic. I never even thought about it until Sylvia. That's the thing about Sylvia. You don't think about things until you speak to her, and you go, ah. I'm giving you a compliment there, Sylvia. Child with autism, Sue. Yeah, it's one of them. It doesn't really matter. Just interesting to say what everyone thinks. Lisa, I'm very open with my 15-year-old. It really does. Well done. Pat on the back and all that. Oh, sorry, Sarah. I didn't mean to make you blush. Telling a child it's okay to feel down sometimes and to talk through. Oh, totally, Emma. Oh, man. Really is. Because it's just, you know, it isn't like the movies, is it? It isn't like the movies. What does Jenny think? I like Jenny. Jenny's she's a professional. Feel that autism shouldn't be first. Just my opinion. Oh. I don't know why I went. When I do that, my beer goes all funny. I'm getting tired now. I'm going to go in a bit because I'm talking random rubbish. And I don't want to lose anyone. Although, 31, that's quite good. Thank you. At least 30 of you are listening. I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, Sylvia, it's still with autism as an... Yeah, I get that. That's the view, isn't it? I've done some reading on it as well. Yeah. Sometimes even the word autism doesn't matter, does it? I suppose, if you really go there. Right then, I'm going to go because my back's really hurting and I'm on lots of painkillers and I need to go and lie down. So give me some insight, guys, for next week. I want to know what you want me to talk about next week. Give me I don't know, just send me some one-word things. Oh, wow. Hey, Anne, how are you? I'm just about to go. But you can go back to the start. I'm going to chat to Anne a little bit first. I hope you and your family are okay. Yeah, so let me know next week what you'd like to talk about. Anything, challenge me. Let me go off and do some research, or anything I can help you with. Yeah, it's all good. Thank you very much, my virtual family, and I will speak to you all next week. Awesome. Thank you.